Hi everyone, wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom Uvorach. This week's parasha Hukat, we read about Moshe Rabbeinu and the sin of hitting the rock. And what exactly his sin is not clear from the text. There are dozens of opinions by our commentaries of what Moshe does wrong. I'd like to share with you the answer of the Midrash. The Midrash says that actually God commanded Moshe which specific rock he was to draw water from. And Moshe goes and he starts looking for the rock. And as he's searching, he overhears people saying, if Moshe is really a messenger of God, then it wouldn't matter which rock he spoke to. He could speak to any rock, and God could bring water from any stone. And then Moshe hears these voices of the people around him, and he's now got a choice to make. Does he listen to God, or does he listen to the people, and does he do what's ultimately going to be maybe a greater Kiddush Hashem, more inspiring, a bigger miracle? And Moshe goes with the latter. Moshe decides to listen to the people in order to sanctify God's name more. And this is Moshe's mistake. Ultimately, the greatest Kiddush Hashem in life comes when we listen to God, not when we listen to the voices in our head or to the voices of the people around us. A lot of times, we want to do the right thing. We want to sanctify God's name. We want to bring justice and truth and kindness and love into the world. And we often have our value system that sometimes goes against God's value system. And we rationalize and justify our own values in order for the name of God. And Moshe Rabbeinu, the sin of Moshe, reminds us that ultimately the greatest good will come to the world when we follow God's value system. There's an amazing Mashal, a story, a parable, told of a king who once told his son, the prince, no matter what you do not take off your shirt. And he sends his son off on a mission. And the prince starts roaming around town. And one day a fellow comes over and he says to him, "Hey, I heard you have scratches on your back." And the prince says, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." And he says, "No, I really did. I heard you have scratches on your back and I'm willing to bet you $1 million that you do." And the prince says, "Okay, no problem, deal." And he pulls off his shirt. And lo and behold, there are no scratches. And the fellow says, "Oh gosh, okay, I thought there were scratches." And he hands the prince $1 million. This prince, he goes back home to the palace and he's so happy, and he walks in and he sees his father is outraged. His father's beat red in the face and he's furious and he's fuming. And the kid realizes that his father must have found out that he took off his shirt. But he says, Dad, relax. Don't worry. We won $1 million. Look, the guy gave me $1 million to take off my shirt. And the dad says, "No, you didn't. You see, I bet him $5 million that you wouldn't take off your shirt." Ultimately in life, Rabotai, the greatest Kiddush Hashem is to follow what God says. When we follow Hashem's recipe, that is the most assured road to success. Shabbat Shalom.